In this video, we are talking about the Havanna Syndrome. At first, it was dismissed as conspiracy theories, random events, and in many cases, even as imagination. But there is more to it than first hits the eye. The first cases became known in 2016 through reports of incidents involving US and Canadian diplomats and intelligence officers in the capital of Cuba, Havana. But in fact, there have been reported incidences as early as 2014 in Frankfurt, Germany. Another fact: the name Havanna Syndrome is not the official designation. It's AHI, which stands for Anomalous Health Incidents. The name was coined by the media because the first publicly known cases took place in Havana. Although authorities prefer AHI in everyday practice, the official law for compensating victims is called the Havanna Act, Helping American Victims Afflicted by Neurological Attacks Act. Symptoms. What can be said in general is, they are very unspecific, they occur suddenly, and without any external influence and injuries. We are talking about dizziness and balance problems, general tiredness and rapid fatigue, hearing loss, pressure in the head and stabbing headaches, tinnitus, visual disturbances, nausea, and cognitive disorders. These symptoms in themselves can be a sign of many different illnesses, but statements from those affected about how and where the symptoms occur are a suspicious sign that it is due to external influences. Those affected typically experience a sudden onset of loud, externally imperceptible noise, comparable to crickets chirping, a high-pitched squeal, or a metallic clicking sound. This is accompanied by intense pain, vibrations, or pressure in the head and ears. A characteristic feature is the strong special localization. The noise seems to originate from a specific direction and stops abruptly as soon as the person leaves the area. These incidents often occur at night and usually last less than 30 seconds, but cause immediate, severe pain as well as long-term damage. This description alone strongly suggests external influence. But there is more evidence pointing to targeted attacks. 97% of those affected are US Americans. And of these 97%, 50% are employees of the CIA and other intelligence agencies, 30% of employees of the Ministry of Defense/military, and 20% diplomats/foreign ministry. It's quite telling that these are all employees of the US government. In 2019, the University of Pennsylvania published a study in which MRI scans revealed significant damage to the white matter of the brains of victims. But in 2024, the National Institutes of Health contradicted this with a new study that allegedly found no damage. In its investigation into the causes, the National Academy of Sciences determined that the use of EMP weapons is the most likely explanation for the described symptoms, which is contradicted by the intelligence agencies CIA and NIA in the Jason Report of 2023. These are just two examples of how studies are repeatedly undermined and refuted, how witness statements are downplayed and dismissed, in many cases even labeled as imaginary. For example, perceived noises are described as crickets chirping, or pain is labeled as psychosomatic. Victims who were unable to work after the attacks received no compensation for a long time because they could not prove the cause and connection to their employment. It was only in 2021, with the aforementioned Havanna Act, that victims gained hope of receiving compensation. Even former CIA employees confirmed there was a massive effort to cover up the investigation and to ridicule the victims. I suggest to watch the report from 60 Minutes, where victims and witnesses of the cover-up speak out about the facts. Various acoustic and electromagnetic causes are discussed in connection with Havanna Syndrome. Infrasound, with its low frequencies, can trigger nausea and anxiety, but is considered technically difficult to use for targeted attacks over a distance. Audible sound, while causing pain and tinnitus, is too conspicuous and easily localized for covert operations. Ultrasound, due to its precise focusing, is a plausible explanation for local symptoms such as dizziness at close range. Scientists favor pulsed microwaves, as these utilize the Fry effect to generate sounds directly in the head and damage nerves deep within the brain. Unlike sonic weapons, these do not require a medium like air or water for transmission. They function via radio waves, similar to wireless internet. Everything indicates that it must be a device in a small yet effective design, and that it transmits the described noises in such a way that only the target person specifically experiences the aforementioned noises, and that these noises can penetrate walls or glass panes. Authorities all over the world have been using weapons of this kind for a long time, but they don't like to talk about when, where, and especially how. In conclusion, the perceptions and symptoms are absolutely real and precisely targeted. They are not coincidences or imaginations. And the victims have a right to know the truth.